Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. On behalf of the Board of Directors, a heartfelt thank you for being here today, being part of our strategic direction, and all the time and commitment and the passion that you invest over the year, over the course of years for many of you. The Board of Directors, we've gone through a little bit of a journey over the past year, and I'd like to bring you up to speed on some of the key milestones. If you look at our bylaws, we have very well articulated what I would call the technical components of what we do as a board of directors, the who needs to approve X and what body needs to approve Y, and what's the pragmatic approach, the process we do to form this committee or to make that decision. And so those things are extremely well defined. One of the opportunities that organizations always have that I've been a part of is looking at what's really the purpose. And the board, in a very thoughtful way, starting about a year ago, started to really examine what is the overall purpose of the board. And so we went through a very collaborative process to identify what are our guiding principles as a board of directors. Also, we brought in some external thought leadership to define what is the role and the responsibility of the board. We partnered with organizations like the Greenleaf Institute, and I know that some of you will be part of some sessions that are going to be conducted around servant leadership. If you're familiar with Greenleaf, his body of knowledge really centers around boards are responsible to the owners. Boards are responsible to the owners, and for that's our members as an organization. And that should always be, for me, for all of us, our principal grounding. I was thinking about this morning what I really love about ASQ. I work with Marriott, and I had Marriott stock, but I always knew it was a fraction of the total stock of the organization with a multi-billion-dollar cap. What I was thinking about this morning, I really love ASQ because for all of us, we all own an equal share of our society. My share is equal to your share, is equal to your share, and collectively, we're responsible for the organization. And as a board, we have two fundamental responsibilities that we aligned on. One is the obvious fiduciary responsibility, the sustainability of our organization, and we're in really good health. Our operating surplus last year was over $500,000. If you look at our investments, they yielded $2 million. Really good financial health as an organization. And as I look across the reserves for many of the divisions and sections, I also see a number of the organizations are in a great state of health. So from a ratio standpoint, we're also right where we need to be in terms of reserves against our operating expense. So feel really confident about the overall fiscal health of the organization. The other role of the board of directors in terms of leadership responsibility to our owners is member. Member in terms of retention, our mission. Our mission is to expand the use and knowledge of quality to diverse, and I would also say to emerging trends across the world. Yesterday we brought together a think tank. We know from the conference board study that one of the top things on CEOs' minds is innovation. We know from other data points from our own quality study, emerging topics, that innovation rose in that study in terms of what are the key emerging trends from the Delphi technique that was used to crystallize what we need to address. And so the board had supported a think tank which was comprised of diverse thought leaders, and some of these individuals flew in from around the world to give ASQ input on how should we position ourselves in terms of emerging topics like innovation. And I felt really good in the session because I heard several times from these thought leaders that were familiar, but at a little bit of distance of the organization, that they viewed ASQ as the gold standard. As a gold standard for a society, for an organization, for value, mission, vision-driven purpose, a gold standard for being able to provide support for its membership, a gold standard you look to when there's a question in terms of quality. That really felt good to receive that. And so we've got a very strong brand that we should feel good about. Our current membership numbers are at 78,000. They're essentially flat to last year. There's a few hundred more over the previous year. Our retention numbers still kind of follow the trend of in the low 70s, to be specific, 73% retention. So we know one of our opportunities is to retain. Now, our engagement numbers, as you would measure customer loyalty, we're at 20, it's in the 20s, the exact number is 26%. 26% for our loyalty statistics, which is overall satisfaction, likeliness to renew, likeliness to refer, those top three indicators. Society benchmarks, I've been told by our metrics gurus, would be 40%, so we know there's an opportunity there to drive additional loyalty. How many of you, by show of hands, could not imagine a world without ASQ? You could not imagine a world without ASQ. I can't. As some of you may know, I work now with the Gallup organization, and when Gallup came to Ritz-Carlton and said, we've got the ultimate measure for emotional engagement, and it's these 11 questions, and one of those questions is, I can't imagine a world without Ritz-Carlton. I actually pushed back at that. I said, there's people around the world, they can live without food and water, and those are the things you have to have, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, those staple items to exist. I'm not really, but when we looked at the data and we tested ourselves, what really discriminated high degrees of loyalty versus the contrast was whether it's a retail, a hotel, or a membership organization, our vision is to create a society where people can't imagine a world without ASQ, for what we stand for and the value that we provide. And there's a lot of great things that we've been doing, that we have in the works. ASQ TV, we've been expanding our communications to broader audiences. We have 98 organizational members, and it's not about getting revenues from enterprises. That's not the win in organizational membership. The win is the conversation now is at the C-suite level. It's with the senior leaders of the organization when we have those enterprise and organizational membership engagements. That's what benefits us. It helps to reposition quality where it should be at the executive conference table. We have work being done on the PAR to make sure that our recognition programs for member leaders such as us are really aligned to recognizing member value. We also have some things in place to bring in more inclusive communities, TCC, and the strategy planning session is incredibly vital. The sections in their last meeting that we had in Phoenix in February, they really started to involve a lot of inputs, and this is another input to our strategy. I'm very proud of Eric Taylor because when we were having one of our board sessions and we're really grounding on servant leadership, the collective board came to the realization that really begins with where we invest our money and our resources to serve our members. And Eric said, we've really got to make sure we have more inputs in the strategy process from this collective group, from other member communities. And strategy is not a linear process either. For those of you that have managed strategic parts of the organization, it's a very fluid process. And so we look forward to your inputs as it guides our collective society, the society that we all love and own as a whole. So the call to actions for us are really good shape financially. We have to take a look at how we can dial up overall member value. We have a number of good things in play, but I'm sure there's a few other things that we can do to ratchet up our performance level to the members that we're accountable for. And the other call to action item is to bring your best thinking to this session. On behalf of the Board of Directors, thank you.